Good morning, good afternoon, good night, all over the world. This is Dr. Janet Piedilato with a two-card reading from the Mystical Dream Tarot. So let's see what this week has in store for each and every one of us. As we begin, we see that we have two cards, the Nine of Cups and the Dreamer of Wands. What is it telling us about the week to come? Well, with the Nine of Cups, notice we have what looks like stick figures, and they are represented as men, as the male, as the animus. This is the thinking, the mentation that we have as we worry about all of the challenges, all of the sorrows and losses, and all of the puzzles that we have to solve in the waking world. Notice the trees at the four directions. And in the very center, we have what looks like an atom bursting with energy. Well, the trees at the very four corners are bending and breaking with the winds of change. And with all the storms that have recently come upon us, we see that. Death to the old, death and destruction to that which needs to be moved into the past now, because we've gone beyond it. And if we remain as stiff stick figures with our minds constantly wrapped around all of the changes, with all of our anxiety, we don't get ahead. Like that tree that doesn't bend when the tornado comes through, when the wind comes through. We too, if we don't bend, will break. But if we look at the very center, where we have that energy, boundless energy, just guiding us and shining light on what comes, we will realize that the change is good, and the change will bring us to new roads and new satisfactions. And each season of our life, we'll see that. It's like buying a pair of shoes and putting it on. Initially, those shoes might pinch and hurt, but when we become comfortable with them, they may become our favorite shoe until the season changes. And then the shoe is changed for something new, for a sandal or a boot, when we have to navigate through a world of great heat or a world of storms and snow. So this first card, the Nine of Cups, is showing that many of us are now struggling between hope and illusion and between true understanding. Where are we? We know what the past was. We kind of understand where we're sitting right now, where we're standing, but the future calls. Can we make it? Can we go with a complete understanding? Or are we like those stick figures and those trees that with change are going to break? If we look at a storm, when we look at the grasses, they bend and they give, and they allow the winds to blow through them. They adjust to time, and we need to adjust. The next card is the Dreamer of Wands. And notice the serenity of this card. After all of the chaos of the former card, we now have a very peaceful scene. We have the great fish, the goldfish, coming up from the waters of the unconscious, from the inner voice, from that explosion within of creativity and understanding that only comes from the inner voice. We have the dove of peace, and we have that great enlightenment as we understand where we are and where we need to go. This is attunement in the middle of change. This is understanding in the center of chaos. We're not locked in one direction, but we need to be open to adjusting to the winds of time. So this inner voice will carry us above that chaos that change can put us in, beyond the anxieties. If we go within, we find the light and the power to move ahead. We become empowered. So from that chaos, where the trees are breaking, where everything is just moving in an area of uncertainty, if we go within ourselves, we find the peace and the understanding and the courage to go ahead. So when we look at these two cards together, We see that from anxiety, fear, and uncertainty, with change and with challenges, we will find ourselves experiencing a world that, yes, is far from the familiar, but with that inner eye, we can rise to welcome this change. We can shine light upon our path, and we can follow it to new roads to arrive safely at the next stage of our life with courage, with understanding, with the inner voice. We can accept the cycles of life that opening us once again to something new. This is life, this is change, and all the seasons of life will bring us somewhere where we need to go, where we have lessons to learn, and with the courage of the inner voice, we can make it and make it successfully. This is Dr. Janet Piedilato. Please check out my website at janetpiedilato.net and follow your dreams, follow your internal voice. It will lead you past the chaos of all of the external world to a place of peace and guidance. Be safe, be well wherever you are until we meet again.